We're coming up on one of my favorite times of year, the Sephora sale. I have a ton of recommendations here, so let's get into it. I am 51 years old. I am dealing with aging, mature skin. I am coming to you from the perspective of somebody with mature skin. What works on my mature skin? Hopefully some of these products will work for you too. I want to note that I did not just go pick a bunch of products. I picked my favorites in each category. Some things I might only have one product per category, and some I might have a lot, but I did truly just want to narrow it down to like the absolute best of the best. My favorite products that I would recommend to a friend, family. I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't just pick a bunch of stuff for the sake of making a video. These are things I truly love. I do not have affiliate links. I am not trying to sell you on anything. I am just telling you what works for me and my 51-year-old skin. So let's get into it. We are going to start with primers. I have two primers that I want to talk about. The first one is the Calliray So Blown Blurring Primer. It is so incredibly blurring. It says plumping hydrator, pore eraser, oil controller, makeup replacer. I find those claims to be, for the most part, true. It definitely minimizes the look of your pores. It is hydrating. It is not drying, and it does make your skin look better. I think that you would be very happy with how this makes your skin look without makeup. Now, I'm a makeup girl. I love makeup. I'm going to wear it regardless. This is so smoothing and so blurring. It's kind of a mattifying primer, but it is not drying. It's really, really good. The price is right. It looks like a tiny container, but you do get one full fluid ounce. Love this stuff. The second primer that I'm going to recommend is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Primer. I'm sorry, the Yummy Skin Glow Serum. I have this in the shade Fresh Pressed, but I have used this before in the other shade. It's like gold. I think it's called Main Squeeze. I absolutely love this primer. So this is going to be the one that I would recommend for dry skin because of how hydrating it is. This is a light pink serum, but it does not translate to the skin. So it doesn't make your skin look pink. It's just very, very hydrating. It gives you the slightest glow, but it's not a shimmery glow. It's like you're glowing because you're incredibly hydrated. This is a repurchase for me. It smells so good. This is my favorite hydrating primer from Sephora. It kind of reminds me of the Glow Recipe Watermelon Dewdrops, but I like this better because it does not pill on me. Sometimes the glow drops can pill under certain foundations. This has worked with everything for me except the Milk Makeup Skin Tint. That Skin Tint's not really made to be worn with another primer. Everything else I've put on top of this, it works beautifully. I highly, highly recommend this primer, especially if you have dry skin. I have a couple of skin tints to recommend. Now, I am working on a skin tint video. It's logistically become much harder than I thought it was going to be, just because I want to be able to do wear tests, and I have 15 skin tints that I'm trying to review. I might have to do a more concise, like ranking type video, but what I will say is that I have tried out so many skin tints recently and, over the years. Like there are some that I don't own anymore, but I did own in the past. I know how they perform. It's hard for me to think of a skin tint at Sephora that I have not tried, but there are two that are my absolute favorites that are standouts. Probably number one is going to be the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint Serum. This is such a fantastic skin tint. Now, it's been around a while. It's not a new product. It's not like the latest and greatest, but it is a solid performer even still. Like I said, I've tried all the new skin tints, and this one is probably at the top of skin tints that are available at Sephora. I have a couple of other skin tints that I like a lot that are not available at Sephora. But of the ones that you can purchase at Sephora, this is my top recommendation. I think that this is fantastic for mature skin. I think it's great for dry skin. It works well for me in the summer when I do get oilier. They recently expanded the shade range. I picked up shade 4.5. I believe it's slightly lighter and more neutral than shade 4, which is a good thing for me because shade 4 did not work for me. Shade 3 works in the winter, but I needed something, when I get a little bit of color. And this one, oh, it's so good. It has a lot of coverage for a skin tint. It's more like foundation coverage, in my opinion. Sorry, my arm is I get really discolored when I'm talking, I think, because I'm like, ah. I get really intense. It wears all day. It's hydrating. It doesn't stick to dry patches. I would seriously consider looking into this if you like skin tints, and it's priced probably lower than any other complexion product that I'm going to show in this video, and I think it's worth it. You get 1.58 fluid ounces. You get a ton of product in here. Really, really nice. The second skin tint that I am going to recommend is the Laura Mercier. It's called the Tinted Moisturizer Natural Dewy. I believe this is a reformulated version of another of her tinted moisturizers. This is a newer skin tint to me this year, and I just absolutely love this one. I have this in the shade 1W. It's such a nice, thin, moisturizing, sheer to light coverage tint. It does have sunscreen. It has like SPF 30. It has a pretty strong sunscreen scent. That's why it's not like top for me. The Danessa Myricks would be number one. This would be my number two recommendation if you don't mind the sunscreen scent and you don't mind chemical SPF. If I wear this like too many days in a row, I can get some little bumps. I try to steer away from wearing chemical SPF daily. I prefer a mineral SPF, and I would really prefer to choose my own SPF. This tinted moisturizer wears beautifully. It lasts, looks the same from morning till night. It does not change. It's very hydrating. It doesn't gather in my creases. It doesn't sink into fine lines. It is a really, really nice skin tint. One of the top skin tints, like I said. I've been testing a lot of them. I love this one. I don't think you can go wrong with this one if you don't mind, like I said, the scent of sunscreen and then a chemical sunscreen, like if your skin doesn't react to it. I really think you would love this, especially if you have mature skin, because like I said, it does not settle in your lines. It just stays looking smooth. It seems to like blur the pores to some degree. It's beautiful on the skin. It really is. I feel like this kind of got eclipsed with all of the new foundations that came out, you know, right at the beginning of the year. This is solid in my book. Okay, so now we're going to talk about foundations. And this is a category that I have the hardest time narrowing down because foundations are my favorite thing. I love to have like a foundation wardrobe, basically pick and choose different ones based on the day, what I'm doing, makeup look that I'm going for that day. I tend to go overboard in the foundation category. I tried so hard to narrow it down, and I did. I have more in this category than any other category. Just wanted to give you a heads up. The newest to me foundation in this lineup is going to be the Basma Stick Foundation. Now, if you want a stick foundation, this is hands down my recommendation. If you want the convenience of a stick, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. I really don't. It lasts all day. It applies so smoothly. It's very lightweight for a stick foundation. It's not a stick foundation that gets stuck in texture and dryness and, you know, wrinkles and all the things that we're trying to conceal. This doesn't take up, gather. It doesn't do anything on my skin that I don't want it to do. Now, I have normal skin. I would say I can get dry in the winter and I can get oily in the summer. Right now, my skin is normal. It's balanced. It's not oily. It's not dry. I did a try on recently in a video. I want to come back and update on this. It wears so well. Like, it requires zero touch-ups. I can't speak highly enough about this. Like I said, it is the newest one to me, but I am loving it. I have the shade 035 in this one. That is shade 035. And it's beautiful. And the next foundation that I'm going to recommend now, I did not purchase mine at Sephora, but it is available at Sephora and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love this so much. This is the Prada Reveal Foundation. I have mine in LW10. Now, I do not have the case. The reason why I don't have the case is because I purchased this at Harrods, and Harrods did not have this shade in the package. They only had the refill. So I went ahead and purchased the refill and thought, you know, I'll eventually purchase the packaging if I like the foundation, if I make it through one of these, or if I feel like this is too fragile, I'll figure something out, right? I'm very careful in my bathroom with it. It doesn't feel super fragile, but I know that if I dropped it on my bathroom tile, it would shatter. That's not what this video is about. This foundation is so freaking good. I am shocked by how much I like this foundation. I resisted it for so long I think honestly, the thing that I resisted about this foundation was the sunscreen, the fact that it has chemical sunscreen. So this is not one that I would wear every single day for a long time in a row. I would like wear that for a couple of days, wear something else for a day, go back to it for, you know what I mean? Like I kind of rotate it, which is what I do anyway, what I like to do, because this finish is kind of more on the matte side. I wouldn't say it's matte, but it's definitely not glowy. It's not dewy. It kind of sets down to like a natural finish, I would say, like a natural skin finish. It looks like skin. It doesn't look glowier or more matte than your skin. It has, I'd say, light to medium coverage, closer to medium than light, but definitely not medium full. It wears beautifully all day. It's a stunning foundation. I'm so happy with it. For a luxury foundation, I don't think the price is ridiculous, especially for Prada. Like it's Prada. I think it's $70. I think the refills are $55. And with the discount, you're talking, you know, 40 something dollars if you want to just purchase the refill. Just so you can see, like the refill is fine, right? It has a pump. This is a glass bottle. It's nice. It's just not protected from a drop, right? Because this is quite thin glass. The refill has all the information that you would need on it. Very happy with the Prada foundation. That's probably my top foundation recommendation, just because I feel like it is such a versatile formula. And I do think that it would look beautiful on mature skin because it's very thin. It doesn't settle on me in my little smile lines. The next foundation that I really recommend is the Anastasia Impeccable Matte Blurring Foundation. This is a foundation that I really did not think that I would like. Like, it just seems like the opposite of what a 51-year-old would want on their face. But it's beautiful. It wears beautifully. It's not super matte. It's more, to me, like a luminous matte, a satin almost even. It's just not super matte on me. I have mine in the shade 1.5. So that is the shade 1.5. The thing that makes this foundation unique to me is how much coverage it provides. It truly is a full coverage foundation. Like, I don't even use a full pump of this. Like, a full pump to me is too much. I use about half a pump. That covers my entire face and gives me full coverage. Using half a pump or less than a pump, I can't exactly measure that it's half a pump. I just know it's less than a full pump. It gives me all of the coverage with none of the cakiness. Not that I think that that's a cakey foundation, but when you've got a full coverage foundation, even if it's thin, it can look a little like heavy and mask-like. That one doesn't, at least not the way that I wear it, right? Like, you know, very little all over the face. Wears beautifully. I absolutely love it. I have a review on my channel of this. I mean, I know that my old videos were not great. They're still not great, but I'm trying. Like every time I'm like, oh, I need to do that better. Oh, I need to do that better. I mean, there were 2 videos where I had mascara on my eyelid and I'm like, the video is probably not fantastic, but I do have a full review of this where I do a wear test. It wears beautifully. Absolutely love it. And the price is right. This is the least expensive complexion product that I am recommending. This is $36. You get 1.58 ounces. Next to that, the Basma at $40 and then the Anastasia at $43. It's priced really well for what you get. And it is a matte foundation that does not age me. It doesn't make me look older. If you have mature skin, I don't think you would be disappointed in this if you use a tiny bit. Like, I don't suggest using a pump or 2 pumps or 3 pumps. The smallest amount that you can get away with, smoothed over the skin, will last you all day and you will look flawless. Okay, the next foundation, I'm kind of cheating on this because I'm including 2. It's 2. And the only reason why I'm holding them both up together is because they remind me of each other a lot. They came out around the same time and I feel like they look very similar on the skin. This is the Givenchy Prisme Libre Glow Serum Foundation. This is the new like blurring foundation. I have mine in the shade 2N. It's a very thin formula. It's very, very liquidy, and it is blurring for like as thin as it is and as sheer to light coverage as it is. It does do some blurring on the skin. The wear is so good. I have a video with a wear test. I don't know if that will be up before this, but I will say this wore so good. I had one of the roughest, craziest days on the day that I wore this, and it was flawless, except for some extenuating circumstances such as my dogs. It wore beautifully. It looks beautiful on the skin. It's very smoothing and glowy. The smell is very faint. It's not super scented like a lot of the luxury foundations. Speaking of scents, the Prada foundation has a light scent. The Anastasia has no scent. The Danessa Myricks has no scent. And lastly, the Terracotta Le Teint Glow. This is the glow version of their Le Teint foundation. I have this in the shade 1W. It's slightly too deep for me. It might not look that way swatched here on my hand, but like in real life, it's a little too deep. You know, I haven't worn it as much as I would like to, but in the summer, this is going to be my go-to. This is going to get a lot of love from me in the summer because it is such a beautiful, glowy, also smoothing. Oddly enough, a glowy foundation that blurs your pores. I don't know how they do it, but they do. This also lasts all day. It wears beautifully. It's transfer resistant. It's skincare based. So is the Givenchy. Foundations are just getting so good that it's hard for me to find one that I hate. These are all very thin, very just super lightweight. I feel like the coverage on these two is similar too. I mean, I don't think you need both. I don't. I think one or the other. You know what I mean? Like pick one or the other based on shades or which brand you prefer. I don't think you need both of them, but I don't think you would be disappointed in either one, especially if you have mature skin. All right, so let's talk about concealers. Now, I've really struggled here with concealers because there are a lot of concealers that I like at Sephora. There aren't a lot that I think are the best, right? The best of the best. I have a lot of favorites that I really, really like. I wanted to pick my top two. I wanted to pick my top one. I had to go with two, and I'll tell you why. My top one is going to be the Calliray Hideaway. The reason why I have another one is because this is a corrector. It's not a concealer. I don't know if there are going to be enough shades for people to be able to wear this as a concealer. I am able to wear it as a concealer. I have the shade Radiant. It is a pinky peach tone. What I love about this concealer is it is so thin and hydrating. It does not crease. Offers, I would say, light to medium coverage. It's not a full coverage concealer at all. I do have some darkness. I don't have terrible dark circles, but this does enough for me. I mean, this is my top concealer pick at Sephora. I just think it's wonderful. So Mr. Winston wants to come. Oh, he's gonna lick me. There's Winston. And come and get in my lap and say hello. Okay, so Calliray, not full coverage, very hydrating, does not crease, does not make my under eyes look older. In fact, this makes me look more youthful, more awake, more alert. I absolutely love this. I cannot sing its praises high enough. If there is a shade that will work for you as a concealer or even just a corrector shade, like this is a corrector shade on me, but I just use that as a concealer, I highly suggest it. It's going to be the least expensive concealer that I talk about, probably the least expensive concealer that I own. It's great. My next recommendation for concealer is going to be the Dior Forever Skin Correct. I have mine in the shade 1W. The reason why I went with this one over my others is because I do believe that for mature skin and aging under eyes, this one is the best full coverage concealer, medium to full coverage concealer that I have used. It's very hydrating. It does crease a little because it's a thicker concealer than, say, the Calliray. It's not thick though. And it's the kind of concealer that you need so little of it, and it goes such a long way because it does have so much coverage. It's one of the few higher coverage concealers that doesn't make me look older. The last thing that I want in my makeup is to put on a concealer that is supposed to correct a problem, and it creates an entirely new problem, which is making me look 10 years older. And a concealer can seriously age you. I mean, if you're here watching this channel, you probably have mature skin and you know that the wrong concealer can do you dirty. It can make you look so much older. This one doesn't. Like this one just, it makes you look the same. You know, it's not going to knock 10 years off, but it's also not going to add 20. So I absolutely love this. The value for the Dior concealer is exceptional. You get so much product in here. It's a glass container. It's really nice and weighty. You get 0.35 ounces. That is a lot of concealer. The Calliray Hideaway also comes in glass. You get 0.25 ounces. I have two powders to recommend. I've been using two different powders. I've been using one to set my under eyes and one to set my face. The one that I love the most to set my under eyes is the Lawless Perfecting Powder. This is in the shade Tutu. It is a very, very light pink. It's almost hard to see the pink tint in it. It's like very faint pink. It is such a smooth powder. It just does something special under the eyes. I love the Kosas Cloud Set and Candy under my eyes. I have that too and use that often. I like this one more. That's why it's in this video. This is the one that I would recommend picking up in the sale if they have a shade that you like. I think this is beautiful. I love the packaging. Compact is quite heavy. It feels luxurious. You do have a little compartment down here where you have a little puff. You can even put your own puff if you don't like this one. So it makes it great to take on the go. I love this. The face powder that I am going to recommend is the Makeup by Mario. I love this powder. This is my favorite loose powder and it just smooths over everything. It's great for mature skin. It's non-drying. It's very finely milled. It sets your makeup without making you look older or cakey. You get 0.53 ounces of product. That's a lot of powder. The container's not quite as big as a lot of powders. You get a lot of powder in here. And it's beautiful. I can't really show you a loose powder, but yeah, it's great. This is my top pick. Wow, I've still got so much stuff to talk about. Let's talk about contour and bronzer. Contours, as far as like contour shades for me go, there are two that I love the most that are available at Sephora, and that's going to be the Dior and the Westman Atelier. This is the Dior in shade 1 Light, and this is Westman Atelier Biscuit. These to me are kind of interchangeable as far as formulas go and how they perform on the face. I think what it would come down to for you is value, if that's important, and shade selection. Neither of these brands have a huge contour shade selection. I think Dior has 4 and Westman Atelier has 3. The performance is very similar in these. The Westman Atelier is a little more glossy looking. Dior is a touch of a drier formula. They both blend out so easy. When they set down, the Dior has a slightly more matte look than the Westman Atelier. The Dior, you get 0.35 ounces of product. In the Westman Atelier, you get 0.21. So you get more in the Dior. I think that they're both luxurious, creamy, easy to work with formulas, hard to mess up. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I think it's just a matter of picking which one has a shade that works for you, maybe price, because the Westman Atelier is going to be more expensive than the Dior, and you get more product in the Dior. That's what I would use to determine which one of these, you know, shade and price. Now, I have 2 more. These are contour products, but on me, these are bronzers. Shades are very warm. They're bronzers. I think that of the 2 of them, the Charlotte Tilbury would be my pick, based on ease of use only. That's the only thing that I would tell you about either of these where I would pick one over the other, is that the Charlotte Tilbury, because it has this weird sponge that I know people don't like, it's so fast and easy to apply. Bing, 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 bing. That's it. You're done. You blend it out. It blends out so super easy. You are done. That is the shade. That is shade Fair. As you can see, that is very, very warm. So on me, I would not use that for contouring. I use that for bronzing, for warming up the skin, and it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite liquid bronzer. The Rare Beauty is every bit as good. The only reason I'm giving the slight edge to the Charlotte Tilbury is, like I said, just ease of use, just convenience. That's it. The actual product inside on both of them, like, I'm not disappointed, and I love them both. I love them both. I think they are both gorgeous on the skin. This is the Rare Beauty. It's just slightly cooler, but not much. That is in the shade Mellow. On me, that is a bronzer shade, and it blends out so beautifully. It's also very easy to use. It's just this is a doe foot. It's a little bit messier. It's not messy. You know what I mean? You know, if I were to tell you which one to go with, I think that they're interchangeable. I think this one is just ever so slightly easier to use. This one is a much better value, though. You get so much product in here. You get a lot in here. You get 0.4 ounces in here for $44. You get 0.5 ounces in here for $28. I think, again, it's going to come down to shade selection and price. Now, I do have two more true bronzers. These are called bronzers that I want to talk about, and they are both from Westman Atelier. It just happened that way. One liquid and one powder. I think that these are both really good. The first one is going to be the Suntone Matte Bronzing Drops. These are new. They are new to me too, but I cannot deny how good they are. That is shade 1. You can see they're very liquidy, and they sheer out very well, but they set down and they are matte. These are going to be different from the Charlotte Tilbury and the Rare Beauty because they are going to set down to a matte finish. Because of that, they are a little more difficult to work with. Not difficult, but you do kind of have to work fast because they do dry down and then they are there. They're not moving. This is the Westman Atelier, shade 1. This is Charlotte Tilbury, shade Fair. This is Rare Beauty in shade Mellow. So they're all very similar, but different enough. Like the Charlotte Tilbury is definitely the warmest and the Rare Beauty is definitely the coolest, but they're all very warm on me. They translate very, very warm. They are bronzer shades on my face, and I love all three of them. The Westman Atelier is going to be the most expensive. Barely. You get an entire ounce in here. You get half an ounce in here. I think they're so nice. I was a little iffy on them at first, but once I found out how to use them, I really love them. And the last bronzer that I am going to mention is the Westman Atelier Butter Bronze. This is such a tiny little luxurious compact. I hate to recommend something this expensive. It is my favorite powder bronzer at Sephora. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Compact is refillable. You get 0.28 ounces in here. So despite the tiny size, you do get a lot of product. Compact is so pretty and so heavy, like it feels like a luxury product. It is so smooth on the skin. It's not a bronzer that I put on and ever have to worry about making a mistake because it just blends out like no effort required, no knowledge required. This is a fantastic beginner bronzer. I don't think you can go wrong with it. And I think that the powder sits beautifully on the skin. I think on mature skin, it's lovely. This is my pick. Sorry. I know it's so ridiculously expensive, but it's so good. And my blush category is much more concise. I'm surprised by that because I like a lot of blushes, but a lot of them are not available at Sephora. So this one, the Natasha Denona blush, these came out and just faded into oblivion, but this shade right here, Fresh Mauve, it's a very warm toned shade. Like to me, it's not mauve. Like, see that? Okay, so there is a swatch of that duo. And to me, it's like, this is a very warm color. The thing that I love about this Natasha Denona formula is it has some weight to it, such that it's not so wet that it eats through your makeup and dissolves it and kind of mixes and becomes sludge. This has enough tenacity that it's its own product. At the same time, it's thin enough that it blends out. You're not putting it on and then stuck with whatever, you can work it out. You can blend it out. You can sheer it out. You can get it as pigmented or as sheer as you want. It's a very versatile formula. I recommend these all day, every day over the Isamaya duos. These, you get 0.35 ounces. In those, you get 0.17. You get over twice the amount of product. And these formulas are, in my opinion, so much better than those. They're creamy, but like I said, they're not so wet that they eat through your makeup. And the highlighters, this is obviously not a highlight shade on me. I mean, it's more of a blush shade. They do have many different colors. I just liked this deeper combo here. And the great thing about having this shade is I can use this as a blush on its own, and I can use it as a blush topper, which is what I do most of the time. Most of the time I put this down and then put this on top of it, and it gives you the most beautiful airbrushed, glowy looking cheek. Somehow this is blurring, but also glowy. The blush is actually matte, and then this is obviously a sheen, but it's not a wet sheen. The Isamaya blushes, like, they're wet. This is a creamier highlight, and I absolutely love it. This particular color anyway, I hope that she comes out with more colors because most of them are very like bright, vibrant, pinky, peachy shades. They all kind of look the same. This one looked different to me and I'm so happy with it. So happy with it. I mean, I'm recommending it. My favorite cream blush formula. What I tried to do in this blush category was pick my favorite cream blush, my favorite powder blush, my favorite liquid blush. So that's what we've got. My favorite powder blush is going to go to the YSL Make Me Blush. These blushes are so good. They're so beautiful on the skin. They're so soft and creamy. This is the shade Nude Lavalier. That's it right there. It's like a bright pink. I will say that like in the website imagery, it looked more like a dusty mauve. It's like a cool pink. It's beautiful though. I'm very happy with it. And I think if they have a shade in this formula that you like, I don't think that you will be disappointed in this formula. Like I really, really don't. I'm picking up another one in the sale. Rose Haze, I think it's the new one that was just released. Can't wait. Can't wait. Love these. They're so good. Packaging is beautiful. Like they're fantastic. Love them. And then a liquid blush. These really, really surprised me. And it's the Huda Beauty blush filters. These are so good. I think these are so good and so fairly priced. They're $22. She has a beautiful selection of colors. I don't think you'll go wrong with these. I really don't. They're like dewy, but also blurring at the same time. It's a really crazy formula that I absolutely love. I think it is the best liquid blush. It is my favorite liquid blush. I built up those swatches so you could hopefully see those shades better, but they're so pretty. This formula is great. I really, really like it. I'm very happy with the two shades that I got. You can mix them because they're a liquid, but they are a liquid that doesn't eat through your makeup. It doesn't dissolve your foundation or your concealer. Really, really great formula. Highly, highly recommend these. I'm going to very, very quickly touch on brows. I only have 3 products here. One I'm going to recommend, but I don't have it here. So let's talk about the 3 that I do have. For a brow for a brow pencil, I am going to recommend the Glossier Boy Brow Arch. The shades are really, really good for matching like actual brow hair color. I have the shade or had the shade Cool Brown. It's gone. I've used it up. That's how good it is, and I highly, highly recommend this. I also like the Westman Atelier Balm Brow, but I think that I like this better. It is a very, very thin pencil, so it's one that you fly through, but Glossier is priced very well. So this is my recommendation for a brow pencil. That's the only one. The only one. That's all I got. Along with that, I'm going to recommend the Glossier Boy Brow. I know that this is an old product, but this is iconic for a reason. It's so good. Still in 2025. It's got the little tiny brush. It's volumizing. It's got like fibers in it that plump up your brows, and it's kind of like a brow wax. Fluffs them up. Really, really good product, and it's well priced because it is glossy. I also really like the Rare Beauty brow gel for like brow lamination. If you want your brows to really be held in place, not go anywhere, this is the one. If you have coarse, thick brow hairs like I do, this is the only brow gel I've ever found that actually holds them in place. The best stronghold brow gel that I have ever used. Does not get flaky or crunchy, which I need because I have such dark brow hairs that I can't do anything that flakes. This doesn't. It's so good. And then the one that I don't have that I am picking up in the sale is the Colfi Free the Brow. I love that stuff. I finished mine a month or so ago and I've been waiting for the sale to repurchase. So I will be picking that up. I'll try to pop a photo of it up here on the screen. I cannot recommend it enough. It is like a brow pomade that holds your brows. It's not as stronghold as the Rare Beauty, but it is movable, moldable. It does not flake or smudge. Great product. Let's do eyeliners because I don't have much in this category to recommend. My very favorite eyeliners that I use to do a wing or tight line are not available at Sephora. That would be the Victoria Beckham and the Lisa Eldridge. But as far as pencil eyeliners go, there is a new kid on the block, and oh my gosh, are these good. These are the Prada Lines Gliding Smudge-Proof Waterproof Gel Eyeliners. They are so good. I have a video where I demo this one. This is the shade Ember, and it is such a unique, beautiful color. It's so different than what I expected. For some reason on the website, I thought it was going to be like a gunmetal, a sooty gray. Instead, it's a sooty brown. Oh, It's so good. It's so good. This impressed me so much. I kind of got overshadowed with the eyeshadow release, but this eyeliner is so good. And this shade specifically is so beautiful. The eyeliners are so creamy and smooth. They do not tug or pull. You can smudge them, but then they set down. I'm going to show you. We're going to let this set. But I also have the mint green. I had to get this because it's like Prada green. And I also saw Nikki Barnes on YouTube. I'll link her channel below. She did a video with Spring Trends where she did a mint green eyeliner. And I was like, say less, I'm buying a mint green eyeliner. I went with the Prada one because they are so long wearing and so creamy and so easy to use. I feel like on aging eyelids, these are going to be a dream because they're not going to pull or tug on your skin or get stuck. These are so good. So let me just show you here. Okay. Can you see that? Nothing. I'm going to let the mint green set. It hasn't set yet. I just put that on. These are great. If they have a color that you like, if they have a color that speaks to you, I don't see how you could be disappointed in this. I really don't. Smudgeable, it's creamy, it lasts all day, it sets down, and it is locked and loaded. It's not going anywhere. So good, so good. I feel like these were overshadowed by the new eyeshadow palettes, but I think these are a hit. Mint green has sat down, so they don't move. They don't move. Really, really good. Speaking of eyeshadows and Prada eyeshadows, I do have a Prada eyeshadow palette recommendation. 20% off Prada. I think if ever there were a time to buy something from Prada, if you've been looking at something from the brand, I think this is the time. This is the time. I will be picking up some Prada eyeshadow palettes. I love the eyeshadows so much. And this is the one that I'm going to recommend, which is so funny if you've seen, which you probably haven't. I initially bought Peony and Primula and did an entire video on them and mentioned in that video how I skipped Pansy because I thought it was too pink and just didn't have any interest in the color story and whatever. I ended up being pretty disappointed in Peony and thought, I need to try Pansy. Maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the one. It's the one. This is the one. Pansy is the one. Look at those colors. And yes, they do lean pink, especially this top shade and this shade. They all have got like a touch of pink in them, but it's not the kind of pink that makes me look sick. I have brown eyes, obviously, and I have to be very careful with pinks and reds. These are wearable for me. Not only are they wearable, they look absolutely beautiful. I have a whole video dedicated basically to this palette and my love for this palette. If you haven't watched that, go watch it if you want like a closer, more in-depth look at this palette, but I am recommending this. I am recommending the Prada eyeshadow palettes. I know they're expensive, but I do think that this formula is special. Eyeshadows are so smooth and silky and soft, and they're great eyeshadows. And you can get them at 20% off. If you've been considering one, I don't think you would be disappointed in one of these. I don't recommend Peony, but this one and the darker one, gorgeous, gorgeous. The next eyeshadows that I'm going to talk about are slightly controversial, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury, but these are so good. To me, I understand that everybody has different preferences. I have mature skin. I don't like these super thick, creamy, like super emollient eyeshadows. I always reference Natasha Denona because that's what comes to mind, because some of her eyeshadows are so thick. Viseart's the same way. Like their shimmers are very thick, very dense, and they give you so much impact on the eyes, but they can also accentuate any kind of texture or create texture. Like in my case, they make my lids look dry even when they're not. These don't. These don't do that. And these colors are so gorgeous. These are the 3 metallics in the Super Neutral palette. Every single one of them is stunning on the eyes. Like they're super pigmented, but they're not super thick. Sorry, those Prada eyeliners aren't going anywhere. So that's the 3. They're just gorgeous. They're so beautiful on the eyes. It's such an easy to wear color story, and the mattes are very soft. Just putting your fingers in the pans, like they're so soft and creamy and smooth. I don't know if you can see those powders, but they're so finely milled. These Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows are beautiful. There's so much that you can do with a neutral palette like this. You could just do a matte look. You can do a smoky eye. You can do all shimmers. You can do any one of these three as a one and done. They're so nice. I do not mind the plastic packaging. I don't, not at all. In fact, I like it because I can see which one I'm grabbing. And this is the other one that I have. I have the emeralds. This does not look emerald to me. To me, this is like an earthy neutrals. So pretty though. Those shades. You have so many shimmers in this one. There are only 2 mattes. You can do a complete eye look with no greens just from this palette. If you were going to get one palette from this collection, I think that this palette is the most versatile because you do have these pops of green. You also have these 2 shimmery browns. You have this gorgeous gold, and then you have these 2 mattes. You can do a look with just these 5 and not even touch the greens, or vice versa. You can do an all green look. You can just do one of these pretty little topper shades. Fingers are a mess right now. So that is 3 of the metallics in the emerald palette. So pretty. Such a pretty palette. And I think at 20% off, I don't think you can go wrong with those. I think they're beautiful. I cannot get these Prada eyeliners off like I'm trying. 2 more eyeshadows to recommend. One is going to be the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions eyeshadow duo. This is in the shade Still at the Club. I hauled this in one of my very first videos on YouTube in the sale last year. And I still think that this duo is an absolute stunner. I know that we have recency bias with how much has come out. My goodness, are these some beautiful shades. My hand is covered in glitter, but let me just get some swatches of these. Like, look at that. I mean, what? This duo, Still at the Club. So I did purchase one of the duos, the gold and silver one. I don't like it as much as this one. This shade, this duo here that I am recommending specifically, Still at the Club. This duo is gorgeous and highly recommend it still. And I think at 20% off, it's a great deal. If these colors appeal to you, this kind of taupey, purpley, very, very metallic, wet looking shadow, and then this gorgeous, like warm brown, beautiful, beautiful shades. I don't think that you would be disappointed in that duo. I have so much glitter on my hands. The last eyeshadow that I want to recommend is the Ilia eyeshadow sticks. I was blown away by this. I do have a video dedicated to this where I try this on and I use this as basically a one and done. That is the shade Brocade. It is a beautiful bronzy, like a warm bronze, but not orange, not too coppery. It's brown enough that it makes a beautiful one and done. And the wear time on these, so good. They're so creamy. They're so pigmented. They're so easy to use. You can literally smear it all over your lid and blend it out with a finger. No tools required. Take it under the lash line and you've got a whole eye look. If they have a color in this collection that you like, go for it. I say go for it. I don't think that you would be disappointed in this formula at all. If you like eyeshadow sticks, if you want something pigmented, if you want something easy, that you can't go wrong with these. All right, we're moving on to lips. That is the last category. We are done after lips. I'm going to recommend a lip balm. That is the Edam lip balms. These are my favorite lip balms. They're so good, such beautiful colors. I talked about them in my hero products. I still stand by them. I think that they are the best lip balms on the market. So there you go. Big Sauce and BSAP Glaze. These are obviously tinted, but they do have a clear. It's always sold out. It's in stock right now. Hopefully I can get it in the sale. Probably not. It's probably going to sell out, but these are so darn good. They do such a great job at moisturizing your lips, softening your lips. I never have a problem with dryness when I am regularly using these. I can't speak highly enough about them. They're so good. I have 3 lip liner formulas to talk about. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, but there's a limited shade selection here. So the Say lip liners, I think they only have 4 or 5 shades. They have a very limited shade selection. This is the shade Flirt. The lip liners are so good. They last forever. They're so creamy, easy to use, and I do like the colors. I just wish they had more. Also, the Freck Nude Muse lip liners. These are like $18 and they're so good. This is shade 04 in the Freck. It's a little bit more warm toned. These last forever on the lips, smudge proof, budge proof. everything that I want in a lip liner, the Freck lip liner offers. It's a twist up though. I prefer sharpenable, but I love that one. That's probably my favorite, like, twist up liner. And then the Dior Forever lip liners are so darn good. These do last forever. I mean, they set down and they don't move up. So I do have this on today, kind of just on the very outer edge of my lips as a contour. If you guys want to see how, like, I contour my lips, I can show you that. It just kind of makes them look a little plumper. This is a shade Grayish Attitude, and it is so good. It's such a good contour shade. It's a great lip liner shade too. I mean, it's beautiful and wears forever, lasts all day. It like sets down and it is there. It's not budging. Very good lip liner. It does have a little smudgy brush on the which I do use. So, all right, we're going to go through lip products really quick. I don't have a lot, but I do just want to touch on some lip products. So as far as actual lipsticks go, my recommendation is the Merit Signature Lip. This is a matte in the shade Court. That is Court. It's like a warm poppy shade, soft poppy, I would say. And it's beautiful. I mean, it looks like a red. Gorgeous shade, very comfortable formula. One of my favorite matte lipstick formulas. Actually, that probably is my favorite matte lipstick formula outside of the Hermes, but they don't have Hermes at Sephora. My favorite, like, actual just traditional lipstick is going to be Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, I had not worn a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in years. I kind of was not wearing lipstick. I was wearing lip glosses, lip oils, lip balms, you know, not an actual lipstick until recently, like in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. And I picked up one of my all-time favorites, which is Bitch Perfect. That is Bitch Perfect. It is like a peachy nude. This is a lip color that I have gone through. Love this color so much. Yeah. So I am wearing this today. It is like my perfect peachy nude. Love this. And the formula is really, really nice. It's very long lasting. It doesn't dry out your lips. It's great. I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Prada lipsticks. I feel like Prada's shade selection cannot be beat. It's the best. It's so good. They have such an extensive shade range. The formula is very good. I think the Merit formula is better, or at least in my opinion, it's a little more comfortable. That is B13 in the Prada. It's a matte. It is a comfortable matte, but after some time it can feel a little drying. Like after a few hours, it starts to feel a little dry. The Merit lipsticks never do start to feel dry on me. Like I said, the shade selection is stunning. And if you're interested in a Prada lipstick, now is the time. And if they have a color that speaks to you, I do not think that you would be disappointed in it. I just happen to have very dry lips. Like I hate the feeling of dry lips, so I've always got something on my lips, and that is something that I feel the urge to like top it with something like this Charlotte Tilbury. I don't feel the need to put a gloss on top. When I wear the Prada for a while, I do. I still love it, and I'm still picking some up in the sale. But so I did want to mention that. This is not really a lipstick. This is like a tinted balm or a glossy sheer lipstick or something, but it's so pretty. This is the Givenchy Rose Perfecto Shine Serum Lipstick. I have this in the shade 110. This is one of the nicest lip products I've ever put on in my life. Like, not to be dramatic, but this is one of the nicest, most comfortable, best smelling lip products. I've got a hair floating in front of me that I've used. I love it so much. That's the shade right there, 110. I believe it's called like Milky Nude. Let me just put some on. It's so glossy and shiny. I can't pin down the smell, but I love it. It's one of my favorite smelling lip products. It's so nice. And the packaging, like, are you kidding me with this packaging? Look at this. It's got this little thing down here that you... What I don't know what that sound was. Such a comfortable formula. So good. We're down to the last two products. All right. The Dior Addict Lip Maximizer is probably my favorite, like, straight up lip gloss formula. And this color in particular, I think this is sold out, but they have these in several different colors. I feel like they release new ones every season. This is Celestial Purple. I don't know why I'm trying to swatch that. It's not really anything that you can see, but they smell so good. They look so beautiful on the lips. They are a plumping gloss, but they don't burn. But I do feel like they give you some plumping. So good. My favorite lip gloss of all time is the Dior Lip Maximizer. They're so nice. And then I have to talk about this new guy. This is very new to me, just like the Basma foundation. But man, Basma has some gorgeous products. This is the Basma Blurring Gloss Balm. It's like meant to be a lipstick, gloss, balm in one, and it is. And it's supposed to be blurring. And it is. It is all of those things. So they only have 4 shades in this formula, which is kind of the only downside. This is it right here. That is the shade Mauve. It's so nice. It's so comfortable on the lips. It's like, to me, again, I don't know that I would call it a mauve. It is blurring. It does feel like a lip gloss, and it has the coverage of a lipstick and the shine of a gloss and the blurring of a lip plumper. It truly is an all-in-one product. They only have 4 shades though. That's like the only thing. They do have quite deep shades. So I think that everybody can find something here, and I think this is 100% worth. Look at the packaging. You can see through it. You can, just that word, Basma. You can see the lip color. This is new to me. I couldn't not talk about it because I like it that much. If there is a shade in this that you like, I do not think you would be disappointed by the formula. I really don't. I really don't. That wraps up my Sephora sale recommendations. You might be wondering why there's no skincare or hair care in this video. I don't really use skincare from Sephora. I only have one thing that is from Sephora, and that is the Surreal essence, and I do love that. I do highly recommend that, but I didn't just want to have just one skincare thing in my video. Hair care is kind of the same. I bounce around so much with hair care. I do really like the Necessaire scalp serum. I guess if I had to recommend one thing, that would be it. But yeah, makeup is my thing. That's my thing. That's my happy place. That's what I like to talk about. That's what I like to focus on. Skincare is very important, and I'm happy to discuss more skincare. It's just I don't use a lot of skincare from Sephora. Hair care is just basically me doing whatever I can to keep my hair from shedding while I'm going through treatment. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. I know it was a long video. I know I had a lot of products, but to me, it was kind of a curated list. Like, I tried to limit myself to just the top tippy top favorites and not just talk about everything that I like. These are just like my very favorites. If somebody in my family or one of my close friends was to say, hey, Sunshine, what lipstick would you recommend? This is what I would recommend. And that's truly what I am sharing with you today. Only the very top things, only the things that make me look and feel my best. I think that is important at my age and, with everything that I've got going on in life. And to me, it's a form of self-care. Please let me know in the comments if you plan on picking up anything that I talked about or anything that I didn't talk about. What are you planning to pick up? Because I'm still building my cart. So maybe we can help each other out. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I will see you soon in my next video. And until then, please take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.